Hello everyone, welcome to Jangatha Times. Today I'll be explaining the topic digestion of food. Now all the parts of digestive system, they work in unison to fulfill a single task, that is transforming the raw materials of the food which you eat into the nutrients that give you energy and keep you alive. So this is the process of digestion. Digestion is the process which involves both chemical breakdown and mechanical breakdown of food into smaller compounds and simpler compounds which can be easily absorbed into the bloodstream. So first of all is the digestion in the mouth. After ingestion of the food, that is eating of the food, the digestion process, it starts in the mouth. First is the mechanical digestion in the mouth. The process of mastication, that is chewing of food by our teeth, it is responsible for breakdown of the bigger molecules of food into the smaller molecules. Then there is movement of food in the mouth by our tongue and the cheek muscles. This movement helps in mixing of the food with the saliva and a bolus is formed. This bolus is then swallowed into the pharynx and then into the esophagus. This process of swallowing of food is called deglutition. That is about the mechanical digestion in the mouth. Then chemical digestion occurring in the mouth. Our saliva, it contains an enzyme, that is the salivary amylase. This salivary amylase is responsible for the breakdown of the carbohydrates. The most of the carbohydrates which we take are in the form of polysaccharides. But only monosaccharides, they can be absorbed into the bloodstream. So these polysaccharides need to be broken down into monosaccharides. Now this salivary amylase, it acts on the polysaccharides and breaks them down into the simpler compounds, that is the disaccharides. Then is digestion of the fats. There is another enzyme secreted in our mouth, that is the lingual lipase. Now as the name suggests, this lip is from the lipids and is the suffix which is added in the name of the enzymes. This lingual lipase is secreted by the lingual glands which are present in the tongue, and it is responsible for the breakdown of triglycerides into monoglycerides and fatty acids which can be absorbed into the bloodstream. But this lingual lipase, it is not functioning in the mouth. It starts its action once the food has reached the stomach. So that's all about the digestion of food in the mouth. Now next is your food which has turned into bolus. That bolus has reached to the stomach through the esophagus. Now once the bolus has reached the stomach, it will be converted into chyme, and this chyme will be passed into the small intestine. Now first is the mechanical digestion of food in the stomach. There is mixing of food in the stomach. On the stomach, our stomach has a churning action. You know what is churning? Like we mix something in our mixer grinder. So same way, the churning action is there in the stomach. All the food that we eat, it gets mixed into the gastric juices properly, and that bolus, the food which we have eaten, it turns into a syrup-like consistency which is called chyme. And only this chyme can enter the duodenum because the opening of the duodenum is too small. It will only allow the chyme to flow through it. Now is the chemical digestion in the stomach. Even before you have taken the meal, the brain, it sends impulses to the stomach, and the stomach, it starts secreted its secretions. That is, even the thought of the food, the smell of the food, or the sight of the food. All these are responsible for the production of the gastric juices in our stomach. Now first is the digestion of proteins in the stomach. So the digestion of proteins, it starts in the stomach. Our gastric juice contains one enzyme which is called pepsin. This pepsin is a proteolytic enzyme, that it is responsible for breakdown of proteins into the smaller peptides. Now what happens? But this pepsin, it is never secreted in the active form. It is always secreted in an inactive form, and the inactive form is called pepsinogen. The hydrochloric acid, which is secreted in the stomach, it is responsible for conversion of this inactive form, that is pepsinogen, to the active form, which is pepsin. And this active form, it breaks down the peptide bonds of the proteins and it breaks them into smaller fragments, which are called peptides. So this enzyme pepsin acts only in the acidic medium. Then is the digestion of the carbohydrates in the stomach. Now once the food, it enters the fundus of the stomach. At that time, what happens? The digestion of the carbohydrates, which has started in the mouth, it continues over there for say about half an hour till the food remains in the fundus of the stomach. Because the salivary amylase, it requires alkaline medium, and once it is exposed to acidic medium, the salivary amylase stops acting. So till the food, it mixes with the gastric juice and its pH becomes acidic, till that time the salivary amylase is active and the breakdown of carbohydrates is occurring. Digestion of fats in the stomach. Digestion of fats in the stomach is minimal. There is an enzyme gastric lipase which is responsible for the breakdown of small triglycerides in the butter fat molecules in the milk. But this acts at a pH of 5 to 6, so its action remains minimal. Now there is another enzyme renin in the infant stomach. Now what does this renin does? It converts the milk into the curd in the stomach, so that the milk, it doesn't pass off so fast from the stomach into the small intestine. Renin and calcium act on the casein of the milk and a curd is formed. So but this renin is present only in the infant stomach and it's not present in the adult stomach. Now next comes the digestion in the small intestine. Now the chyme, it starts entering the small intestine. This is acidic chyme, but now our small intestine, it requires what kind of medium? Alkaline medium. All the enzymes in the small intestine, they are functional only in the alkaline medium. So this acidic chyme, it gets neutralized and it's converted into alkaline form when it reaches the small intestine. First, let's talk about the mechanical digestion in the small intestine. There are two types of movements in the small intestine: segmentations and peristalsis. These segmentations, they are also called the mixing movements. These are responsible for mixing of the food or mixing of the chyme with the intestinal juices. With all the enzymes present in the intestine, they get mixed with the chyme which has reached the small intestine. And moreover, it brings that digested food particles near to the mucosa so that they can be easily absorbed into the blood. But these segmentations, they are not responsible for the movement of the food in the small intestine. They are just localized contractions at a particular part where the food is present. The contractions occur and they mix the food with the intestinal juices. Then second type of movements in the small intestine are peristalsis. These are responsible for the propulsion of the food forward in the small intestine. These movements, these peristaltic movements in the small intestine, they are much slower than the peristaltic movements of the esophagus. Slowly the food is moving, it's digesting, mixing with the intestinal juices, and it moves slowly along the small intestine. Now is the chemical digestion in the small intestine. First of all is the digestion of carbohydrates. Now our small intestine, it has the pancreatic juice, the intestinal juice and the bile. Now from the pancreatic juice, we have pancreatic amylase, which is responsible for the breakdown of the carbohydrates in the small intestine. Now one was our salivary amylase, which started its action in the mouth itself. Now जो अब रह गए हैं particles of the food which have not, those polysaccharides which have not been converted to disaccharides, they are converted to disaccharides by the pancreatic amylase in the small intestine. So in small intestine now all the starches, all the polysaccharides, they are converted to disaccharides by the action of the pancreatic amylase. Then are the brush border enzymes. These brush border enzymes are responsible for the breakdown of disaccharides into monosaccharides, that is glucose, galactose, fructose. These monosaccharides is the only form of the carbohydrates which can be absorbed into the blood. So this completes the digestion of carbohydrates. Now is the digestion of proteins in the small intestine. There are 4 enzymes in the pancreatic juice which are responsible for the digestion of proteins. They are called the proteolytic enzymes. So any enzyme which is responsible for the digestion and breakdown of proteins is called the proteolytic enzymes. So proteolytic enzymes of the pancreatic juice which have entered the small intestine are, the first one is trypsin, second is chymotrypsin, elastase is the third one, and carboxypeptidase is the fourth one. So now this trypsin and chymotrypsin, both they are released in inactive form. The inactive form of trypsin is trypsinogen and the inactive form of chymotrypsin is chymotrypsinogen. The trypsin and chymotrypsin, they convert the polypeptides to dipeptides and tripeptides. Then is the peptidases. The protein digestion, it is completed by these peptidases, that is aminopeptidases and dipeptidases. They break down the proteins into the amino acids, and these amino acids, they are then absorbed into the bloodstream. Then is the digestion of fats in the small intestine. Now I've told you bile, pancreatic juice and intestinal juice. These are the 3 juices which are present in the small intestine. Now what is the function of bile in the small intestine? It is responsible for the emulsification of fat. That is, it breaks down bigger fat molecules into smaller molecules. Why? So that the surface area can be increased, so that the enzymes, the responsible for digestion of lipids, they can act on those smaller lipid molecules and break them down into the monoglycerides and the fatty acids, which can then be absorbed into the bloodstream. Now our pancreatic juice, it contains pancreatic lipase. It converts the fat molecules into fatty acids and monoglycerides. Now how is this pancreatic lipase functioning? Now triglyceride, it has 3 fatty acids attached to it. So this lipase, it removes the first fatty acid, it removes the second fatty acid from the triglyceride molecule, and we are left with 2 fatty acids and a monoglyceride. So this is how the pancreatic lipase, it breaks down the triglycerides into the glycerol, monoglycerides and the fatty acids. Then another enzyme responsible for digestion of fats in the small intestine is intestinal lipase. It is secreted by the glands of the small intestine and it splits the neutral fat into fatty acids and glycerol, and these fatty acids and glycerol is that part of the fats which can be absorbed into the small intestine. So the maximum digestion, it occurs in the small intestine. Now from the small intestine, by the peristaltic movements, the rest of the unabsorbed food, it enters the large intestine. Now we'll talk about the digestion in the large intestine. First is the mechanical digestion. There is haustral churning of the food. This haustral churning is similar to the segmentations which occurs in the small intestine. This haustral churning is a slow movement and it gives enough time for the absorption of the water and the electrolytes from the large intestine. Then another type of movement is the mass peristalsis, which occurs in the large intestine, which is responsible for the propulsion of the undigested and unabsorbed food which is left over in the large intestine. Then chemical digestion in large intestine. No enzymes are secreted in the large intestine. No enzymes are present in large intestine. The last stage of digestion which occurs in the large intestine is only through the bacterial action. No enzymes. Numerous organisms inhabit the colon. These bacteria include E. coli, Clostridium perfringens, Streptococcus faecalis, Clostridium welchi, and Lactobacillus. So first is digestion of carbohydrates. These bacteria, they digest the remaining carbohydrates and release hydrogen, carbon dioxide and methane. These gases contribute to flatus in our colon. Now bacteria, they convert the remaining proteins into the amino acids, and these amino acids are then converted to indole, skatole, hydrogen sulfide and fatty acids. Some of the indole and skatole is carried off in the feces and it is responsible for the odor of the feces. Then bacteria, they also decompose the bilirubin into stercobilin, and this stercobilin gives the color to the feces. Then bacteria, they convert urea to ammonium salts and ammonia. So several vitamins responsible for normal metabolic actions like vitamin K and some of the vitamin B like thiamine, folic acid, riboflavin, vitamin B12, nicotinic acid, they are synthesized by the bacteria and absorbed by the action of the bacteria. So that's all about the digestion of food in the alimentary tract. Hope this topic is clear to all of you. If you have any queries, you can leave a comment in the comment section. Please subscribe my channel so that I can continue sharing my videos with you. Thank you. Have a great day ahead.